How's it going, Bears fans? Welcome back to the Bear Down podcast, where we talk everything Bears every day of the week. Today we are covering the Chicago Bears 23-16 win over the Carolina Panthers, as the Bears improved to 5-1 for the first time since 2006. My name is Zach Rimbos. I'm the head editor and video producer here at Bear Down, and I'll be your host today as Chris isn't able to record with us. But I am joined with my co-hosts Parth and Jaylen McClinton. How are we doing? Blood pressure up again, guys?
Yeah, another close game for the Bears, but I guess I'm used to it at this point. You know, it's something that us Bears fans just have to get used to. But they're pulling the W's out, which is the most important thing. You know, just happy to get another W.
Same, like exactly what Parth said. These close games, and we were up, so I wasn't really nervous if we're down in this type of game. But just glad we got a dub. That's all that matters at the end of the day. We're 5-1, like you said, for the first time since 2006 when we made it to the Super Bowl. So, we're definitely in some good company. I'm definitely proud of this team, and yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, boy, it's a game-by-game stretch here, and it's been a long stretch of weeks for us Bears fans. We are back here again covering another way too close game by the Chicago Bears. But let's get right into it. For the Carolina Panthers today, Teddy Bridgewater went 16 for 29 for 216 yards and had 2 interceptions, one picked off by Tashawn Gibson after a Jalen Johnson tip, and the other by DeAndre Houston-Carson to steal the game today. Mike Davis in his revenge game against the Bears picked up 52 yards on 18 attempts, with a long of 12 yards. DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson led the receivers, outing the Bears receiving as a whole. DJ Moore with just 5 receptions for 93 yards, a phenomenal performance by the young receiver, and Robbie Anderson with 4 receptions for 77 yards. Switching to the Panthers defense, Trey Boston led the Panthers defense in tackles today with 5 tackles in total, and Jeremy Chin, a guy some Bears fans had an eye on in this draft, a hometown guy out of Southern Illinois. He had 4 tackles and an interception against Nick Foles. That was a pretty horrendous throw, but let's get right into the Bears stats now. Nick Foles went 23 for 39 with 1 touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown on that quarterback sneak, and 1 interception totaling for 198 yards. David Montgomery saw a load increase in this game with 19 carries for 58 total yards, while also catching 4 balls for 39 yards. Cairo Santos had an amazing outing, went 3 for 3 in field goals, scoring 11 points in total for the Chicago Bears, going 2 for 2 on extra point attempts as well. Allen Robinson led the receiving corps with just 5 receptions for 53 yards. Cole Kmet catches his first touchdown in his NFL career. He had 2 catches for 20 yards. Jimmy Graham, another decent game, 5 receptions for 34 yards. But let's switch to the Bears defense now. Roquan Smith led the defense with 7 tackles. Khalil Mack had 1 sack, as did Bilal Nichols and Mario Edwards. Jalen Johnson tipped the ball, leading to Tashawn Gibson interception, and DeAndre Houston-Carson seals the game with a huge interception on Teddy Bridgewater in that fourth quarter. And to finish it off, Eddie Jackson had a forced fumble that led to an Akeem Hicks recovery and a pick six that was called back yet again. Eddie Jackson now has, I believe, 3 pick sixes on the season that were negated by a penalty. Guys, this game was another close and heart-racing one. The Bears improved to 5-1. I've talked plenty, so I'm going to pass it to Parth. Parth, what were your initial reactions to this Bears win? And then we'll pass it to Jaylen.
Initial reactions. It's a little tough to say. I have a lot to say, but I'm going to keep it short here. I'm just going to say the Bears offense has to play better. We saw the offense show some juice in the first quarter and some other juice in the end of the third quarter, but they came out slow again in the third quarter. We saw the interesting statistic that the Bears hadn't scored any points in the third quarter till today. They scored their first points in the third quarter today, which is something interesting, especially if a team is 5-1 now. You know, you expect the team to come out fast after halftime, make those adjustments, but it still isn't there. I think that's got to improve with coaching as well. Play calling wasn't much of an issue till the end of the game. Matt Nagy once again likes to give other teams timeouts while we're going up. I mean, we could have easily ran the ball and ran the clock down, but he gave the ball back to Teddy Bridgewater, but it didn't mean much as he threw an interception right after that. And the defense, again, you know, it's been outstanding all year, still outstanding. It's the best red zone defense I've seen. I think this defense is comparable to 2018. We're not getting as many as turnovers, that's for sure, but, you know, I think they're stopping the teams. We're bending but not breaking. That's the most important thing. You know, they're letting the team drive down, but it never ends in a touchdown. And then again, the run defense was great this weekend. And even the offensive line did not allow a sack, which was surprising, despite seeing Nick Foles, being pressured there a couple of times, but no sacks for the offensive line.
So my initial reactions on this game was it wasn't like really a heart racer for me. I feel like we were dominating the whole game. The first drive for the Carolina Panthers, we got a huge sack. I feel like it should have been a safety, but thank God it was because we ended up getting a pick off a Jalen Johnson tip, so which led to a Cole Kmet touchdown. So congrats on Cole Kmet getting his first NFL touchdown. Hopefully, as the season goes on, we get him more involved into this offense. He had 2 catches today, so like I said, congratulations to him. Offense wasn't playing that bad. Obviously we can move the ball way better. It was a couple plays here and there that should have been third down conversions. Like off the top of my head, Demetrius Harris, he dropped the ball on the third or second 11. We ended up converting the play or converting to the first down, but still you have to make a catch. Another one was Anthony Miller. He caught the ball past the sticks and he juked back for some reason and it ended up being he ended up getting stopped and it was short of the first down. So stuff like that, we have to get better at. Play calling wasn't that bad in my opinion. I feel like Nagy is calling plays that he thinks the offense is going to execute correctly, but they just don't. Only real play that I was confused by was when he decided to pass the ball on third and 3 instead of running the ball and making the Carolina Panthers waste their last timeout in the fourth quarter. So initial reaction, the defense played well. This defense is looking amazing again. I feel like the first couple weeks were just because no preseason. We have a lot of veterans on this defense side of the ball. 3 turnovers today, which was amazing. I feel bad for Eddie because he got another pick six taken away from him. But Kyle Fuller played well. Jalen Johnson, probably his worst game of the season, but he still was able to contribute to the defense. He had a tough matchup with DJ Moore, but other than that, I'm extremely excited that we won this game. That's about it.
Yeah, to talk about Jalen Johnson, this was definitely his rookie game here. He didn't start. He started out really hot. Actually, he had that tip and was able to. And Sean Gibson picked it up, but it's tough. He's going out there against DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson, two really great receivers, and people are going to say, "Well, Bears are 5-1. They might not deserve that." Well, they do. This defense came out, and this Panthers offense was extremely hot. They've been really good all season. Teddy Bridgewater shows that he is not just a game manager. He's done great this season for the Panthers. So that was a big game for him. Even though he had 2 interceptions, he did show that he's got the capability out there. So Bears defense 100% came out to play tonight or today. Excuse me. And they were lights out. But let's get into offensive MVPs of the game. Offense was a little stagnant. Obviously, like Jaylen was saying, it wasn't as bad. There were some very questionable calls, like we were saying, and it was tough for us to get a couple of drives to get going for us. But overall, let's just get into offensive MVPs of the game. I'm gonna pass it to Parth first, if he's prepared for this, and we'll go from there.
I'm gonna give it to Cole Kmet. He had our first touchdown of the game. I think he only had 2 catches for, was it 20 yards? But at the end of the day, he had that touchdown that set the momentum for the Bears. I don't think the Bears have started off that hot this year at all. So it was great to start off with a touchdown right off the bat. On the offensive side, it was really hard to pick an MVP. I mean, if we look at Nick Foles, he only had 198 yards passing, a touchdown, and an interception. And that interception was a terrible throw. I mean, we haven't really talked about that throw yet, but I think he has to throw that away. He's a veteran quarterback in that situation. You just got a turnover. You just got the ball back right in the red zone, and you just give it right back. That cannot happen ever again. I'm pretty sure Matt Nagy was not happy about that. As someone who is excited to see Foles improve this offense. It just hasn't happened yet. A lot of Bears fans are happy with the win today, but in my opinion, the offense was still subpar. The Bears couldn't run the ball against this defense. I was really hoping for a breakout game for David Montgomery, but at the end of the day, he only came out with 3.1 yards per carry. And, that's something that's need to improve. I don't know if that's a sign of concern, but I think it is, especially if we couldn't run this ball against the Carolina defense that's been giving up back-to-back games over 100 yards against other running backs.
Like Parth said, I don't think I was thinking about MVPs as I was driving home for this offense, but I really don't think I can give one out. Nick Foles, if he didn't throw that interception, that possibly turned into a touchdown. That would be 3 touchdowns for him and 0 interceptions. And then there was really no receiver that went off. Our leading receiver was Allen Robinson, but he only had 53 yards. David, he had 19 carries for 58 yards as well, but he averaged 3.1 yards a carry. So I really don't think this offense has an MVP, which is I guess you say a bad thing because we ended up winning. But if I did have to give one out, I would also give it to Cole Kmet. He got involved into the offense. That was a beautiful throw and an amazing catch by Cole Kmet. He was in like double coverage, so it took a very long time for him to get on the field. I'm glad Nagy's starting to use him a little bit more into this offense. But yeah, I'm gonna give it to Cole as well.
Yeah, it is really hard to pick out an MVP, offensive MVP for this game. Like we said, it wasn't terrible, but this Panthers defense is really bad in the run game. Actually, the worst in the league. So, I mean, we have to be able to pound the rock, and we haven't been able to do that, especially against this team. This was our opportunity. David Montgomery, again, only had 19 carries for 58 total yards, and that's just not enough for this Bears offense. We need to get it rolling here. So, I'm going to give it to Montgomery, though, even though he didn't score. I'm just going to say that he put us in a lot of good situations, set up that Nick Foles rushing touchdown on that quarterback sneak. He gave us, I mean, especially at the end of the game when he pushed forward for about 6 or 7 yards, and they were using their timeouts. I think he had a great game, despite I think the offensive line was horrendous today. There was no pass protection, pass rush. There were multiple times where they were sending 3 pass rushers and they were getting to Foles, and that's just that just cannot happen. So not only that, but the push up front for David Montgomery to get a break was not there today. So I'm gonna give it to David Montgomery. But a more easy side to pick from. Let's switch to the Bears defense. Let's go, Parth. Who is your defensive MVP of the game?
See, there's a lot more people to choose from this time around, but I'm going to go with, Eddie Jackson. I thought he should have had that pick six, and he also had a bunch of great tackles today, and he's playing solid coverage. He was hobbled at one moment. I saw him holding onto his knee. It was a little scary situation, but Eddie Jackson's been underrated all year. I feel like he deserves this one, and hopefully he can pick up a pick six finally. He's been so close, like you said, 2 or 3 times this year, but I don't think that was a penalty. I think Kyle Fuller's been also outstanding on defense too all year long. He had that great tackle on Teddy Bridgewater at the goal line too. But those two have been so great to see together. This cornerback and safety group for the Bears is looking really good so far this year.
Same with me. I don't think. Sorry if I got well, but like I said, same with me. I don't think it's really one MVP on this defense because the whole defense play like MVP. So I'm gonna give it to the whole defense. I'm gonna give it to the pass rushers, the middle linebackers, and the secondary. Starting off with the secondary. Kyle Fuller played well. He's like playing very aggressive, and when you play very aggressive, you're bound to get calls even when it's not a call. Like the interception play that got called back, I don't really think that was pass interference. Just like the same thing with the Eddie Jackson play. He was going for the ball, tipped it up in the air to Eddie Jackson, and he returned for a pick. And then on the hit, that hit that he did was basically like last week where he used his shoulder. It was a what's the word? A fundamental hit, and he popped the ball up in there, and I think that was either Jalen Johnson or Eddie caught the ball, but it was called a targeting or we're leaving with that basically. So the defense played well. The linebackers, Roquan led the team with 12 tackles. He's starting to get back on track, especially in the run game. Danny Trevathan, he didn't have the best game. I think the only time I really saw him is when he got burned on a little out route to the running back, which converted for a first down. But the pass rushers, they pressured Teddy Bridgewater a lot today. He was rushing out the pocket a lot. I think that the Bears defense had 4 sacks. Mario Edwards played well. Khalil had a sack. Barkevius Mingo had a sack as well. So very amazing job by this defense, causing 3 turnovers. This defense is playing really well. I'm so excited. Hopefully the offense can help the defense later as the season goes on.
Yeah, we talked about. So I forgot Barkevius Mingo's sack as well on the stat line, but this game we're not gonna talk about it because we don't really need to blame or put any blame on the refs, but the refs were extremely spotty today, and that goes for both teams. There was a roughing the passer call on Nick Foles. I also just thought was like, wow, I don't really understand that call, but it did go both ways. I found a lot of those calls against the Bears to be really, really picky. I didn't like it, but we're not gonna put any blame on the refs here. Bears come out with a win, so they got the job done. My defensive MVP of the game is going to be Roquan Smith today. He had 7 tackles. He had a huge tackle for the loss in the fourth quarter there when they dumped it off to the running back. That was a huge tackle for just momentum of the defense. And then that fourth down when DJ Moore dropped that ball, which would have been a spectacular catch, but luckily we came out with this one. Defense played spectacular, lights out, like we said before. And yeah, hopefully next game we can get some more momentum going with this offense and just give our defense a break. But we talked about it at the beginning of this year with the addition of Robert Quinn. As long as we have this pass rush, as long as we can get pressure on a quarterback, we'll get turnovers, and that showed today. Teddy Bridgewater with 2 interceptions, but also we had that forced fumble. But that pass rush is deadly, and it's led to turnovers, and that's huge in this league. So. Yeah, that's what our defensive MVPs of the game are. Let's go to what the Bears need to improve on for next week. Let's start with Parth. What do you think is the biggest area of improvement for the Bears?
Just the offense in general. I expected a big game out of David Montgomery today, and we didn't get it. Next week's even tougher challenge against that Rams defense. There's no way. I mean, I'm not gonna say there's no way, but it's gonna be a much tougher task to run against that defense with Aaron Donald right there, and he's been super impressive to start off the year. And I want to see a bigger game out of Nick Foles. Less than 200 yards today, a touchdown and an interception. Yeah, I think he can play much better. There's times where he makes some amazing throws this week. He had some great throws, and then he's had those throws where you just shake your head. That interception was one of those throws, and I was very frustrated to see that happen. But it happens. This Bears offense has been spotty all year. It's been spotty for a couple of years now. Hopefully, Matt Nagy once again we get those details down, because this Bears defense is playing just like 2018. We have the defense to go all the way, to make a big run at this playoffs, to even win the division, even against these Green Bay Packers, who've been really good to start off the year. But if the offense doesn't step it up, everyone's still going to be picking against us. We're underdogs for one reason, and it's because the offense. People don't think we can score enough points, and if we're in a shootout, I do not have faith in us winning that game. So hopefully the offense can play better. Nick Foles can start getting these easy completions. We can get another big game out of David Montgomery. I'm really hoping, I was really hoping the Bears would sign Le'Veon Bell for that one reason, is because we haven't had a consistent running back just yet. And Montgomery just hasn't been able to get it going, whether it's his fault, the offensive line's fault, the play calling, or even the defenses are just getting a lot better against us, I guess. But we need to get the run game going, and somehow Nick Foles going as well against the LA Rams if we want any chance to beat them on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I think we have to stay consistent, or not stay consistent because we're not consistent at all. Try to find consistency with this offense. We play a very good team next week, a very good defense as well, who has a lot of talent in all 3 phases of the on their defense. They have Aaron Donald, who's one of the best defensive players in the league. They have Jalen Ramsey in the secondary. So if we don't try to find consistency, whether it's passing the ball or running the ball against that defense, and it's definitely not going to be a good game for us on the offensive side of the ball. But staying consistent, we haven't been consistent in the 6 weeks of the season, and we're 5-1. So I don't, at this point, as long as we find a way to win, it doesn't matter to me how we do it. Rather we put up 30 points or we put up 10 points and the defense gives up 6 and we win the game. So, but that's mainly it. Play calling as well. Like I said, the play calling wasn't that bad today, other than probably a few plays here and there. But as long as the play calling stays consistent, and we find ways to put points on the board or just move the ball so our defense can catch breathers, that's where we really need to improve on.
Yeah, definitely. It feels like a week after week kind of thing here. We talk about the Bears have to get better in the running game. As long as the running game opens up, David Montgomery is able to find holes and our offense is able to push up front. It opens up so much for the offense in terms of just passing and the play calling that you can do in general. And against this Carolina Panthers defense, we weren't even able to find that. So you have to hope next week that something changes here. And although this is a great defense, we have to, show that we're 5-1 for a reason. And come out and play the Rams, play our game, and hopefully Nick Foles will be able to manage that game, and Montgomery can get off to a great hot start. But yeah, I mean that'll pretty much do it for us here today. A pretty close game, but lucky and happy to come out with the outcome of that game. Bears move on to 5-1. Parth, Shaw, and Jalen McClellan. Any last final words?
Yeah, the Bears are 5-1. It's exciting to be 5-1. You know, it doesn't matter what happens in the game at this point. You know, we're 5-1. We don't have to worry about it. Let's hope the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can beat the Green Bay Packers here. They're already down 10-0, so it's not looking too hot. But the Bears got a tough schedule ahead. Now we got the Rams, the Saints, and is it the Titans, I believe. So 3 tough games coming up. Let's hope we can pick at least 2 out of those. I'd be super happy with 2 out of 3 wins there. That's a tough schedule ahead, and the Bears are getting better. Hopefully the offense can pick it up from now on, especially against these tougher teams. And I got faith. We're 5-1. Let's roll.
5-1, baby. That's all that matters to me. This is a great 10 days for me. Bears are 5-1. We have 8 days off until our next game. So we play on primetime next week. Let's try to move to 6-1. Bear down.
Yeah, just bear down, baby. It's going to be an impressive week for this defense to come out against the Rams, hopefully, and show them who they are. But yeah, I wasn't too sure when I was going to be back here on the podcast, but I'm here again. So it was fun talking with you guys, and good time discussing the Bears here. But other than that, if I will say now, if you guys haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, like the video, check out our channel. We have social media description links in the description. I'm sorry, for social media. You find Parth, Jaylen, and I's social medias in the description. And other than that, bear down, and yeah, let's come out next week hot, and that'll do it for us. So have a good one. Peace.